I think it starts with what your talent is. And in my case, I had a talent to wrestle. But if you're over 265 pounds, it doesn't matter. You cannot be an Olympian, even if you were better than everybody, because the weight bracket ends at 265. And so sumo becomes the only real alternative. But once I got into sumo and found out it was a 2,000-year-old martial art, and it was steeped in religious and cultural significance, then it became much more than just a sport. And you know, it's taken me all over the world. So it's been an amazing ride here for me.
どうして相撲さんになる？
だから太ってたから。
Because I was heavy. まあプロに入った時、何か家族とか親戚とかなんか。
いやないよ。だって俺はもうさ、大学でそこそこ有名だったから、もう家族はみんなプロに行くと思ってたんだよね。
みんな応援しましたか？
応援っていうかだから普通だったそのプロに行くのが。
はい、それは当たり前のことと思った。
そうそうそう。
So I asked him, I mean, he was doing this in childhood. I asked him when he became a pro sumo wrestler, what did your family think? He was already a very successful university champion, very well known. So all his family expected, they anticipated he'd go pro. No surprise, no big reaction at all. It was kind of anticipated that he would do that.
Yeah, my wife and my parents and my relatives basically thought I was crazy. Thought, oh, here's Kelly trying to do this crazy sport, but it is Kelly, by the way, so after all. So I get pushed back because my wife prefers me at home and being a father and more of a husband, and I try my best to do both those things, but I just love sumo, and ultimately she supports me.
なんかデーティング、女と付き合うことはどうですか？なんかそんなに大きいだとなんか小さい女の人と付き合いますかとか。
いや彼女いっぱいいましたよ。
He said I had a lot of girlfriends. どんななんか大きいか小さいとか痩せてるとか。
女の子？
はい。
いや自分が大きくてでかいから背がちっちゃい細い子が好き。
He says I'm really huge, so I like really short, thin girls.
Well, for me, I got in sumo after I was married, so I have to try to not date as much as possible.
But just tell him what kind of girls you would like. If
If I was dating, I mean, I am Mormon, so if they reinstate polygamy, then yes, beautiful, curvy, kind of what Yama described, just beautiful, dark hair, blonde hair, doesn't matter. Just well, full-figured, good, pretty women. No. People wonder about that with my wife, but we manage. In that regard, that's one of the main differences, I think, between Yama and us, because Yama's from Japan, and it's in high school, it's in elementary school, it's well established. But here, you talk to all the people you can, but unless you totally think outside the box, you're not going to try it. And you certainly don't go up to parents and say, oh, your kid could do sumo. They look at you like you're crazy. So you spread it around, and then people end up contacting you is how basically you do all you can, and I do. I try to recruit. And I would love to get this involved in a kids program throughout the country, because there's so many kids that have a low self-esteem because they're heavy, and women too, and girls too. But sumo is for male and female, and international sumo has 3 weight categories. So literally everybody can do sumo in the US, but they have to get through that wall that's the stigma and the diaper and the this isn't an American sport, dude, you know, type of philosophy. You have to really think outside the box, and there are people out there that do that, and they contact us, and we become friends, and we go to tournaments together, and we learn from each other, and there's this camaraderie, and we tease each other, like Andrew always teases me, and I tease him, and so yeah, it becomes this this group of people that you have this common bond with, and it's important. It means something to you.
まあ日本の相撲とか日本の大相撲と、まあ、アメリカのアマチュア相撲と何が違うんですか？
まあ根本的に違うのは、だからお金をもらえるかもらえないか、給料が出るか出ないかじゃん。それはもう会社として、日本のプロ相撲はもう会社として一つの組織で出来上がってるわけじゃん。それがないのがもうアマチュア相撲でしょ。
最初にちょっと。So the first thing is, in Japan, there's pro sumo. You get paid money. So in Japan, it's an organization. So it's like a big company. They run the organization, and you get paid money to compete in pro sumo. Here, it's just on an amateur level. あとは稽古とか。
いやそれはそうよ。だってアマチュア相撲ってことは何かをしてて相撲をするわけじゃん。相撲プロの相撲っていうのは相撲のためだけに生きていくやつだから、もう朝からもう相撲取りになる、相撲取り強い相撲取りになるための生活をするわけじゃん。
So amateur sumo people just do it, as a hobby basically. But in pro sumo in Japan, all day long, all they're doing is living a lifestyle to get strong or tough in sumo. They're living for the sake of sumo. And I'll add that I'm sure he would want to say it's based on traditions that have been around for centuries. The way they eat, the way they train, the rituals they do, the hierarchy, etc. So it's a lifestyle as opposed to what someone does as a hobby.
By the grace of God. I don't know, I'm a statistician. I have a master's degree. I have a wife. I have 5 kids. And I'm skilled at my job. And those are all the things that if I would have went and done sumo full time, I would have sacrificed all of those, because you're not even allowed a wife until you reach a certain level. And so, my retirement and my money comes from another source, and I plan on retiring through that.
まあプロ引退してから、まあとりあえずこれからどういうことをやりたいですか？
アメリカで？
はい、まあ
いやそれはアメリカでもっと相撲を広めていかなきゃいけないとは思ってますけど。
はい。So I want to help promote and develop sumo here in America. So the top level guys in pro sumo, most of them stay in the organization and they become coaches. Oyakatan, they get a decent lifestyle until retirement, coaching, running the organization. A lot of the guys who maybe were not as successful, or some of the guys choose not to become coaches, they might open up their own business, or they might coach at a high school, or they might become security guards, or especially they might work at a Japanese chanko restaurant where they cook food that they used to cook every day in pro sumo. So there's no particular thing they need to do, but it's common they'll still remain connected to sumo in some way.